If you look at the About section of this channel, you'll see a specific promise I made to you. I wrote, I've made every financial mistake in the book, so you don't have to. I wish that was just a catchy marketing slogan I came up with to get views. It's not. It's my reality. It is the history of my 20s. Hi, I'm Sam, and today I need to tell you about the mistake that haunts me the most. It's not the time I bought a stupid car I couldn't afford to maintain. It's not the credit card debt I racked up in college buying rounds of drinks for people I don't even talk to anymore. It's a specific number. It's a ghost that follows me around. That number is $8,000. I lost $8,000 when I was 24 years old. But I didn't lose it in a casino in Vegas. I didn't lose it on a crypto scam or a pump and dump scheme. I didn't even spend it in the traditional sense. I didn't get a watch or a vacation out of it. I lost it because I was arrogant enough to think I could outsmart math. I lost it because I thought doing nothing was a safe choice. Most finance channels are going to show you a pretty chart today. They're going to show you a perfect hockey stick graph and tell you that compound interest is magic. Just put in $1 and become a millionaire? I'm not here to tell you it's magic. I'm here to tell you that compound interest is a weapon. It is a massive, heavy, powerful weapon. And if you don't pick it up and use it, it gets used against you. It crushes you. If you are in your 20s or 30s right now, and you are sitting on cash, you are currently bleeding money that you don't even know you have. You are losing wealth that doesn't exist yet. So let's stop the bleeding. I want to walk you through exactly how I messed up, the psychology behind why we all do it, and the brutal math that nobody shows you until it's too late. Let's rewind the clock. I want you to picture 24-year-old Sam. I had just landed my first real job. I'm talking about a job with benefits, a 401k match I didn't understand, and a paycheck that hit every 2 weeks like clockwork. It was the first time in my life I saw a comma in my bank balance that stayed there. I felt like the king of New York. I walked differently. Now, the textbooks, the ones I ignored, tell you that when you get a raise, or when you get your first real job, you should keep living like a broke student and invest the difference. That is the rational advice. But real life isn't a textbook. Real life is emotional. Real life is messy. I remember staring at that bank account balance on my phone app and thinking, I worked hard for this. I suffered through exams for this. I ate ramen for 4 years for this. I deserve a reward. That phrase, I deserve it, is the most expensive 3 words in the English language. So, I did what any financially illiterate 20-something does. I started buying stuff to signal to the world, and to myself, that I was successful. I remember walking into the electronics store. I had a perfectly good laptop. It was a bit heavy. The battery only lasted 2 hours, but it worked. But I convinced myself I needed the Pro model. I told myself I need this for productivity. I'm a professional now. Professionals need professional tools. I spent $2,500 on that machine, and let's be real, I didn't use it for productivity. I used it to play Civilization 5 and scroll through Reddit threads at 2 a.m. I upgraded my wardrobe because I thought people at the office cared about what brand of shirt I wore. Spoiler alert, they didn't. I started ordering the appetizers and the cocktails at dinner. I stopped looking at prices at the grocery store. I was blowing about $1,500 of disposable income every single month on fluff, on lifestyle inflation. But here is the insidious part. This is the trap. I didn't feel like I was being reckless. I wasn't going into debt. I paid my credit card off every month. I still had a chunk of savings sitting in a checking account. About $20,000 that I called my safety net. I looked at that $20,000 and I told myself, I'm being safe. I'm keeping my cash liquid. I'm waiting for the right opportunity to invest. The market looks too high right now. I don't want to buy at the top. I'll wait for a crash and then I'll be a genius. I told myself I was being a strategist. I wasn't a strategist. I was a coward. I was paralyzed by a lack of knowledge, masquerading as prudence. And while I was waiting and being safe, the math of compound interest was quietly destroying my future wealth. Let me break down the specific calculation of my hesitation. And I want to warn you, if you are sitting on cash right now thinking you're doing the smart thing, this next part is going to hurt. It hurts me just to say it. At 24, I had that lump sum of $20,000. The S&P 500, the stock market, historically returns about 10% on average per year. Some years it's up 20%. Some years it's down 15%. But over the long haul, it's about 10%. I sat on that $20,000 for 2 years. Just 24 months. In the grand scheme of a life, 2 years feels like nothing, right? You blink and 2 years pass. You watch a few seasons of a TV show. You work on a few projects. And suddenly you're 26. But in the world of compounding, the beginning is the only part that matters. If I had invested that $20,000 on day one with normal market growth, 2 years later, I'd have had roughly $24,200. Actually, during the specific years I was waiting, the market was on a tear, so it would have been closer to $28,000. But let's be conservative. Let's say the difference was about $8,000 of growth that I missed. Because I kept it in a checking account yielding 0.01% interest, basically nothing, 2 years later, I had $20,004. I had enough interest to buy a latte. The difference? About $8,000. I basically paid $8,000 for the privilege of being scared. I paid $8,000 for the comfort of seeing that money sit still. Now, I can hear you arguing with me. I can hear the skeptic in your head because it's the same voice that was in my head. You're thinking, but Sam, you didn't actually lose money. You still had your $20,000. You just didn't make money. That's different. No, it is not different. And that right there is the broke mindset talking. That is the mindset that keeps us poor. In finance, opportunity cost is a realized loss. If I put a pile of $8,000 in cash on this desk right now, poured lighter fluid on it, and struck a match, you would call the police. You'd think I was having a mental breakdown. But because the money was invisible, because it was money I should have earned but didn't, we shrug it off. We say, oh well, maybe next year. But here is where it gets really ugly. This is the part nobody on YouTube really hammers home. That missing $8,000? It's not just gone today, it's gone forever. It is deleted from the timeline of your life. If I had that $8,000 working for me from age 26 until I retire at 60, do you know what that $8,000 becomes? I'm not talking about adding any more money. I'm talking about just that $8,000 seed that I burned. At a standard 7% or 8% return over 34 years, that $8,000 seed grows into roughly $80,000. Read that again in your mind. $80,000. My 2 years of hesitation cost future Sam a luxury car. It cost him a down payment on a rental property. It cost him 2 years of living expenses in retirement. I robbed my future self of $80,000 because I wanted to wait and see what the market did. Why do we do this? Why are we so bad at this? There is actually a psychological term for it. It's called present bias. Researchers have found that human beings are wired to value immediate rewards way more than future rewards. Our brains light up when we buy the new iPhone or the nice dinner today. But when we think about putting money into a retirement account for old me 30 years from now, our brains register that as giving money to a stranger. To your brain, future you is a stranger, and nobody likes giving money to strangers. I was suffering from severe present bias. I saw the $2,500 laptop as an immediate dopamine hit. I saw the $20,000 in the bank as security I could feel right now. Investing felt like throwing money into a black hole where I couldn't touch it. But let's look at another scenario. Let's talk about the cost of waiting in a different way. I want to introduce you to a guy I used to work with. Let's call him Mike. Mike was the guy in the office who everyone kind of quietly judged. Mike drove a Corolla with a dented bumper that was probably 12 years old. He brought a tuna sandwich to work every single day in a brown paper bag. He never came to happy hour. I used to look at Mike and think, man, live a little. What are you saving for? You can't take it with you. Mike was investing $500 a month starting when he was 22. He just said it and forgot it. $500. That's it. Then there's me, Sam the Big Shot. I didn't start taking this seriously until I was 32. I spent my 20s looking rich and being broke. So Mike has a 10-year head start on me. At 32, I wake up. I realize I'm behind. I realize Mike is actually the genius. So I panic. I decide to hustle. I decide to catch up. I decide to invest $1,000 a month. I am putting in double what Mike put in. I am stressing myself out. I am cutting my budget to the bone. I am working overtime. I am trying to force the math to work by sheer brute force of capital. So, we race. We both invest until we are 60. Mike put in $500 a month from age 22 to 60. I put in $1,000 a month from age 32 to 60. I contributed way more cash from my own pocket than Mike did. I worked harder. I sacrificed more. So who wins? If we assume an 8% return, Mike, the slow, steady guy with the tuna sandwich, ends up with about $1.5 million. Me? The guy who hustled and paid double? I end up with $1.1 million. I worked twice as hard. I put in twice the money, and I still lost by $400,000. How is that fair? It's not fair. It's math. Mike's money had the one thing you can never buy: time. The dollars you invest in your 20s are what I call super dollars. A dollar invested at 20 is worth 10 or 20 times what a dollar invested at 50 is worth. It has decades to split and grow and split again. When I bought that laptop at 24, I wasn't spending $2,500. I was spending $25,000 of retirement money. If you start viewing every purchase in your 20s as a super dollar, it changes your psychology. You don't have to be miserable. I still drink good coffee. I still travel. I still enjoy my life. But you stop blowing money on garbage that doesn't matter. You stop upgrading your phone every year. You stop trying to impress people who don't care about you. Now, I mentioned earlier that I was waiting for the market to crash. This is the other trap I fell into, and it's one I see in the comments section all the time. Sam, the market is at an all-time high. I'm going to wait for it to drop, then I'll buy in cheap. This is called timing the market, and unless you have a crystal ball, it is a loser's game. There's a fascinating study by J.P. Morgan that looked at market returns over a 20-year period. If you stayed fully invested in the S&P 500 for all 20 years, you averaged about 9.8% per year. Your money grew massively. But, and this is a huge but, if you tried to trade in and out and you missed just the 10 best days in the market over those 20 years, your return drops to something like 5.6%. If you miss the 10 best days, you cut your returns almost in half. And here is the kicker. The best days usually happen right after the worst days. The market crashes, everyone panics and sells, and then 2 days later it rips upward by 6%. If you are sitting in cash waiting for the dust to settle, you miss the recovery. By sitting on that $20,000 for 2 years, I wasn't avoiding risk. I was taking on a massive risk, the risk of missing the best days. And I did. I missed a huge run-up. So mistake number 1 was waiting. Mistake number 2 was trying to time the market. But there is a third mistake, a silent killer, that got me when I finally did start investing. When I finally got over my fear and opened an account, I didn't know what I was doing. I was insecure. I thought, I'm not a finance guy. I need a professional. So I walked into a bank. I sat down in a nice office with a guy in a very nice suit. He offered me a mutual fund. He said, Sam, don't worry. We're experts. We pick the best stocks. We beat the market. I asked, what does it cost? He smiled and said, it's a tiny fee. Just 1.5% a year. You won't even notice it. 1.5%. It sounds like nothing, right? If I make 8% and they take 1.5%, I still keep 6.5%. Who cares? You need to care. You need to care a lot. Fees work like reverse compound interest. They don't just take a slice of the pie. They stop the pie from growing. Let's say you invest $100,000 over 30 years. If you invest in a low-cost index fund with almost zero fees, that money might grow to roughly $760,000. But if you invest in that guy's mutual fund with the 1.5% fee, that same money only grows to about $470,000. The difference is nearly $300,000. That nice guy in the suit? He didn't just take 1.5%. He effectively confiscated 30% to 40% of your final wealth. When I realized this, after 3 years of paying those fees, I felt sick, I felt betrayed. But mostly, I felt stupid for not reading the fine print. I moved my money out immediately into low-cost index funds. But again, those 3 years of fees? Gone. I can't get them back. And there is one more enemy you are fighting if you are sitting on cash: inflation. When I had that $20,000 sitting in my checking account, I thought it was safe because the number didn't change. It stayed $20,000. But the value of that money was dropping every single day. Inflation is roughly 2% or 3% a year. That means every year you hold cash, you are silently losing 3% of your purchasing power. Safe is not safe. Safe is slowly going broke. Investing is risky, yes, but holding cash is a guaranteed loss. I don't tell you all this to depress you. I don't tell you this to make you feel bad about the latte you bought this morning. I tell you this because nobody told me. I had to learn this by losing thousands of dollars and wasting my most valuable years. If I can stop just one of you from waiting another year, this video was worth it. So, what is the solution? How do we fix this? What is the Sam Finance blueprint for not being an idiot like I was? It's actually incredibly boring. And that's the point. Step 1. Kill the wait for the dip mindset. People ask me all the time, Sam, the market is at an all-time high. Should I wait? No. Time in the market beats timing the market. Every day you wait is a day your snowball isn't rolling. Even if the market drops tomorrow, in 30 years, it won't matter. Just get in. Step 2. Automate the pain. I know myself, I'm lazy, and I'm emotional. If I have to manually transfer money to my investment account every month, I won't do it. I'll find a reason to spend it. Oh, it's Christmas. Oh, my tires look worn. You need to remove the decision. Set up an auto transfer for the day after payday. The money should leave your checking account before you even have a chance to see it. Treat your future self like a bill collector. Pay him first. Step 3. Start ugly. You don't need $10,000 to start. You don't need $1,000. If you have $50, start. There is a massive psychological shift that happens once you become an investor. Once you have $50 in the market, you start paying attention. You stop being a spectator, and you start being an owner. Open a brokerage account today. Not tomorrow. Today. Even if it's just for $20. Step 4. Check your fees. This is your homework assignment. Log into your investment account or your 401k. Look for the number that says expense ratio. If it is over 0.5%, ask yourself why. If it is over 1%, you're getting ripped off. There are plenty of total market ETFs out there charging 0.03% or 0.04%. Go find them. Stop giving away your retirement to Wall Street. Listen, I made these mistakes. I paid the stupid tax of $8,000 and the $80,000 of lost growth. So you don't have to. I can't get that money back. It's gone. But the beautiful thing about money is that it is a renewable resource. You can always make more money. Time, however, is not renewable. You cannot make more time. I started late. I made mistakes. But I started, and that's the only thing that matters. If you're watching this and you've been sitting on cash, waiting for a sign, this is it. This is your sign. Don't be 24-year-old Sam trying to look rich while actually getting poorer. Be Mike. Be the guy with the tuna sandwich who retires a millionaire. If this was helpful, or if it hurt a little bit, which is usually a sign of growth, hit that like button. It helps the algorithm show this reality check to more people who need to hear it. And before you go, I need to say this clearly that this video is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on the internet, sharing what I wish I'd known back then. Your situation might be different. Always do your own research.